I am a Seventh-day Adventist. I worship in our Seventh-day Adventist church, and I love the people here, so I'm so grateful that I was invited to come and present to you. I know that there are a lot of people in the group who know a lot about this topic and have a lot of experience with charcoal, so by all means chime in and share what experiences you have. I'm going to be sharing a little bit about some of the benefits of using activated charcoal as a home remedy. My information is coming from training that I had at the Weimar Institute in California, which is a lifestyle institute that uses nutrition, exercise, the 8 laws that I believe Janice may have presented in the past. They use that to help reverse and prevent chronic disease. Charcoal is one of the remedies that they do use there. I've also had the blessing of being able to take a week of classes with Dr. Agatha Thrash. I know a few of you said that you have this book on home remedies, hydrotherapy, and charcoal, and I was able to study under Dr. Thrash a couple years back. On that note, if anyone is really intensely interested in home remedies, natural remedies, or medical missionary work, there is always a week-long workshop in the summer at Andrews University. It's in Michigan. I know it's a little far, but if your travels ever find you there, it's really worth it, and that's where I got to study with Dr. Thrash. So before we begin, I know most of you probably know each other, but I only see a few familiar faces, so I introduce myself. My name is Tina, and I'll tell you one thing about myself. And whoever would like to share, I'd love to hear everyone's names and maybe one thing about yourself. Tina, and I enjoy butterflies. In fact, I raised 3 different kinds of butterflies with my kids last year. It was really cool. They're flying all over my house. It was great to release them. That yet? What was that?
Were any songs about that yet?
No. Well, maybe you can.
Hi, I'm Dawn, and this topic I'm very, very interested in. I'm definitely interested in, the health ministry.
Wonderful. Welcome, Dawn.
And I'm Mike, your husband. We clean together, and I'm also a musician, so.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. So you can write the songs about butterflies, or maybe a charcoal theme song for the next time. Welcome.
I'm Ruth, and I can go a little bit about herbs. At least years ago I took a class, and I don't know about charcoal.
Great. Okay, well, welcome.
So I'm at the right place.
You sure are. Okay.
My name is Bob. I'm an avid hiker. I've been exploring the airline trail in Colchester and found out that it ends up in the Salmon River State Forest. I blew my mind. It's so beautiful. I can't wait to get back there. So I just found that, and I belonged to the Appalachian Mountain Club for a couple of years in the conservation committee in there, and I have a whole new appreciation of the state of Connecticut when I found the Salmon River State Forest. So there's a lot more to explore in this state also.
That's excellent. So a little of what we're talking about today too, if you're ever hiking and you're in a pinch and there's a campfire along the way, then we can talk a little bit about how you can use, even pulverize some of the wood as a remedy. But we'll have some cautions on that as well.
That charcoal container right there, I have that in the freezer.
Okay.
I had a thing on my wrist and somebody suggested, so we got that, and I also had a big cyst on the back of my head. Didn't work. It was too big of a thing. I ended up having it operated out. But had a wet patch on the back of my head with the charcoal in it, and it was working, but it would have taken too long to get all that out. So I did have it operated on. But I know and heard of all the uses of charcoal, and it's amazing.
Okay. Well, we'll share some of those today, and if likely we'll run out of time because this is a very useful item for many ailments. So we can always continue on another occasion. So,
I have a question. Can you use a ferro rod to start that? Fire starter? It's like one of these things? I'm a hemp survivalist at the Feral Rock.
Well, you don't want to set this on fire. This is wood that has already been burned.
Okay.
So we'll get to some of that.
Because I wasn't sure how that works.
Well, we'll let you know.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm Beth, and I've always been interested in the medical field.
Cool.
Excellent.
And I'd like to know some more natural stuff instead of all the drugs out there.
Okay.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen to
You've
that.
got a really good microscope.
Ooh.
Water.
Nice.
Put that here somewhere.
So we'll come see you, we've seen some doctors.
There you go.
There you go, they're great physicians.
All right. And no hiding behind the camera. No? Well, welcome. Okay.
We have Leo,
Leo. Welcome.
who's a big
Leo.
help here.
Okay. Leo, we're glad to have you, and I hope that we'll answer any of your questions. Amber? Oh, I know Amber, so I'm introducing her, but anything you want to share about yourself?
I'm interested in this topic.
Well, if there's anything that I'm not covering, then feel free to ask, because I want to make sure that everyone gets a little something today. Okay.
I am Pat, and I'm very interested in this class.
Okay.
And I'm Janice, and I'm interested in all things natural, and I'm so grateful that God has provided something for everything. He created us in such perfection that the remedies that we need to sustain us are all available. And I'm really excited about everyone's interest in going forward. I feel a real genuine love and interest among so many people to be able to have a healthier, happier future life in this chaotic mess of the planet we're having. Thank you, and I hear that part two is ringing in my ears, so go ahead.
If there's an interest, because I've had some other questions, like how do you actually make the charcoal? That's a different topic. That's missionary medicine, and we could go over that. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about why that is, the unique properties of charcoal. You do have a handout, which is really just a note sheet. So I want you really just to jot down the things that you hear in this that you feel are the most important, something you want to remember. I don't want you to be a slave to the page and write down every word I said. Just if you are interested in knowing, well, how can I use this for pain? Or how can I use this for my stomach, or for various other things, then jot down those things. But don't feel like you have to write down every single thing. We'll certainly come back and do more, or I'll answer any questions that you have, or you can, I can give my email, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you're actually doing a poultice and you have a question. But Beverly and Janice, I'm sure they can answer those questions as well. Okay, so one of the reasons I'm most excited about being here is because I love this verse, John 10:10, in the New Testament, where Jesus says that I have come to give them life and to give it more abundantly, right? God intends for us to have an abundant life. But here in this earth, we do have sickness.
Yes, we do.
We do, and even more so as the day is nearing for Christ's return. And there's another verse that comes to mind, though, where it says in Luke chapter 21, verse 11, it says, "There will be great earthquakes in various places, and famines and pestilences,
Yep.
and there will be fearful sights and great signs from heaven." So that doesn't sound very,
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you say John 10:10?
yes.
Because I have the thief does not come except to steal and to kill and to destroy. I have come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly. Is that what you said?
Yes.
You just didn't say the beginning first.
Yes, I read the second half of the verse. So
Oh,
Jesus
okay.
came so that we could have abundant life. It's just comparing the thief comes to steal life,
Still
Yeah.
cheap.
to rob, but
Yeah.
Jesus comes to give life.
Yes, he does.
And so that's the main motivation behind why I do health ministry, to help promote life and to promote wellness. And then when I read things that are a little more troubling in the Bible, like we just read about the earthquakes and the pestilences, then it leads me to my knees to say, Lord, how do we deal with these things? Because we do have promise. The Bible gives us promise that God will take care of us through out
Good
these
times.
things that are coming upon the earth.
Yep.
Are we seeing more earthquakes?
Yes.
Yes. What about pestilences?
What do you mean by that?
I have never heard of this when I first started studying the Bible 20 years ago. I never even knew.
I always thought of pestilences as like, you know, when all the locusts came and ate up
Oh,
all the
yeah,
stuff.
yes.
But somebody had brought it up one day that
Yard.
it's the Zika virus
Yes.
and it's
There you go.
the
Mosquitoes.
the swine flu
Yep.
and all these
Thank you.
other things that we've had coming out. There's just, I can't remember them all.
So there's your
So
best
many.
one.
There's your
That's
best
happening now.
And,
Yep.
and even more so, we're becoming more and more used to it, especially living in Connecticut. The big one that we first started hearing about was Lyme disease.
Yeah.
This is a pestilence. I mean, many of you probably remember when you were a child, you could probably walk through long grass and skip through the meadows and not a care in the world. You cannot do that anymore.
Nope.
You have to take
Yeah.
precautions.
Right.
The world is changing. But praise God that He is giving the people of God wonderful things that we can respond to, and charcoal is one of them. So why is that? What is it about charcoal? Because you can go to the health food store, you can Google online remedies for all sorts of things, and you'll find lots of information about herbs and, you know, vitamins and things, but you don't find as much about charcoal. If you go and walk into a health food store, some may carry activated charcoal, but you may have to request it in another one. So why am I talking about charcoal today? Well, charcoal has some unique properties. I don't know if everybody can see them. Activated charcoal, which is what we are speaking about today. We are not talking about the common charcoal that you buy in a bag, briquettes, that you use for barbecue. We're not talking about that for a couple of reasons. That can come from a number of sources. It can be a wood source, but it could be petroleum, and it is also usually treated with chemicals. So we're not suggesting that you ingest that even if you're in a pinch.
Are the charcoal in the capsules activated charcoal?
Yes, there are charcoal, you can buy charcoal products that come in, that can come in capsules, and if it says activated charcoal on the label, that is what we're talking about. So if you have the capsules at home, then you can use those capsules for anything we're talking about today. Okay, and the reasons, as we're saying, is that charcoal has a unique property. So imagine that these are, molecules of carbon, which charcoal is made out of.
Right.
And it's traveling, let's say you ingest it, it's traveling through, maybe you took it because you had an upset stomach because
Something
you ate, exactly. The temperature in my fridge was off today, so I was like, I don't know if the soy milk's good, but I had it in my cereal anyway. And but if I were to find out that, this actually wasn't good, and I took the charcoal has this unique property that it adsorbs, not absorbs, it adsorbs. So it clings on the surface to different other elements, and it helps travel outside the body. If you're using it externally, same thing. You're taking your charcoal, and we'll show you how to prepare it. But let's say I have, case in point, my daughter just had a tick, unfortunately, and it had bit her, and we removed the tick and applied charcoal immediately. So if the tick had, what they do is they inject spirochetes into the body. So if it had done that and they were in my arm already, then the charcoal will work very strongly to pull that out because it doesn't absorb, it adsorbs. And you can then remove it and discard it.
I got a question.
Yes.
Now, being like a survivalist, being out in the woods, now if I took a piece of burnt wood that I took from the fire, could you use that charcoal for adding to your body?
So that's a really good question. The question was, can he use burnt wood from the fire? The one trouble with that is that you don't know, the person who burnt the wood before you, that it's left over from, you don't know if they used.
What if I cut it down myself?
If you did it yourself, you know that this fire was wood, it was pure wood, and you didn't use lighter fluid or anything like that. You know, then what you would want to do is, this is wood from my fireplace. So it's just wood. So, but you see that there's ash on it.
Of course.
It's not dark like this.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So so what you would do is you would just kind of pulverize
Grind it.
and grind your wood.
Yeah.
This is what they do in the mission fields. This is missionary medicine. You don't have the ability to go to the Adventist book center and buy activated charcoal. So this is what you're doing, is what you're saying. So if you're also hiking Appalachian Trail and you're way up there and you cut yourself,
Right.
you know,
What do you do?
yeah, this is what you want to do.
Really
Now,
cool stuff.
without being too graphic after lunch, I think you guys had lunch, when I was researching some of this, I was amazed at some of the pictures that I saw on Google of what people were using this for in countries very remote, massive injuries. I'm talking, you know,
Lots of arms and stuff.
yeah, limbs, deep cuts, things that looked like what I would imagine leprosy would look like, you know, where medicine is not readily available, they're using this with some degree of success. Of course, you're gonna pray over all the elements.
Of course.
You're gonna pray that God use these simple elements that He gave us to promote healing, and you will experience some blessing from it. So, were there any questions about the property of charcoal and why that would be useful? Okay.
I just,
Yes.
the definition of absorbing versus adsorbing,
Okay,
what is
so
that actually?
adsorbing, think about a sponge. A sponge absorbs water, right? It soaks it up. So the water goes inside the sponge. That is absorption. Adsorption, it doesn't go inside. It attracts and to the surface
Yeah.
and discards it. You know, it can travel through your body if you took it internally, or it will remove it. It will attract and remove externally. Okay? We have a couple chemists in our church, and I asked him, so why do there's lots of elements that adsorb. Why are we ingesting charcoal? And he said, because charcoal does it right. Other elements that adsorb, if you were to ingest it, you'd be in trouble. But charcoal just has a unique ability, because it's not actually smooth like this.
Right.
So it has little pockets that will cling to, let's say, the toxin or the element that you want to get rid of. Okay? Okay, so a couple other common uses for charcoal that you might be familiar with.
Purifying water.
That's right. Does
I
anyone have?
actually get one of straws, one of lead straws.
Okay, yeah, they have straws, they have, you know, like a Brita filter, the filter in it is it's charcoal in there.
Yeah, right.
You know, in the military, if you see like a gas mask,
Mm-hmm. Charcoal.
it's charcoal that's in there. And maybe for construction, I don't know.
I've done
Chuck, do you know? No? I mean, sometimes they have those
Respirator
masks.
masks.
Exactly, so charcoal, because it has that unique ability for purification. Charcoal is also used, you know, in cosmetics. Beverly
Really?
worked at a spa, and what were some of the things that they used? Baths, did they use them for like a detoxing bath?
We did salt baths, and we did seaweed baths, and mud bath, which was black, like it looked like charcoal water, and that was actually volcanic, so it was very similar to charcoal. we did other things too, but that was basically, what we did for the, detoxing.
Okay.
We did wraps too, where we would put it right on the skin, which would be like a poultice.
So again, putting it on the skin, ladies, you may be familiar, they do make charcoal masks for the
I
skin.
have that.
Do you have that?
Yes, I do.
And do you like it? Or-
Well, once in a while, if I break out, I'll put it on and, it dries out my skin.
Okay.
Takes the impurities out.
See, I tried a charcoal mask, I said, oh, it's charcoal, this is gonna be great, it's gonna clean out my skin. Okay, it really did, so it was
Yeah.
a little too powerful for
Yeah,
this.
right.
So, a word of caution on
Yeah.
that, a word of caution.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also, because of the deep black color that you can get from the charcoal, they also use it for cosmetics, eyeliner,
Shadows.
paint, like pigment for different paints and stuff. Yeah, so there's many uses. You had a question?
About 20 years ago, I went to the doctor because there was something that was spreading on my leg
Uh-huh.
and we didn't know what it was. So I went to the doctor. He had no idea what it was and he had no idea what to do about it. So I walked out of there like, what am I supposed to do now? And I ran into someone and they told me to put charcoal on it. And it discolored for quite a few years, but it was gone like in a couple days.
Wow. Wow.
Amen.
Yes.
That container right there has got a dark, fine powder in it, right? Can you talk about the application of putting it on?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so there are different ways that you can use charcoal. You can use it internally and externally. So we'll go to the external uses first because I think that's what is on people's minds. So one of the most common ways or useful ways for using charcoal on the outside externally is in the form of what's called a poultice. You can make poultices out of many different things. Turmeric powder, all kinds of herbs and powders you can make a poultice or application. But charcoal is perhaps my favorite. So the way to use it externally, you want to use gauze or something. You can use napkins, paper towels. If you have maybe linen that's really thin, sometimes you want to use something that is not thick. So because you don't want to interfere with that absorption. So when I'm in a pinch, I will use just a napkin and get it down to 1 ply. But gauze is really good. Now nowadays there's gauze that has the plastic on one side and stuff. I pull that off or I'll flip it around. See, this has a little bit of that protective thing. That's going to be on the outer side. So I'm going to show you, this is called a charcoal poultice. And what you're going to do is you're going to take some activated charcoal. So if you didn't write that in your notes, then you want to put activated charcoal. This one is called Natural Elements. It's a brand that you can find at the Adventist Book Center. You can call them and order it and they'll ship it to you. But I was going to ask at the Willimantic Food Co-op if they would be willing to order this if people went in there and said, hey, can you order it? Because they will order special products for you. So if you're local and you want some, you could probably go to the co-op and request it. If not, then I'll get some for you. My hope is that everyone will take a little bit home today. So when I do this, I like to use either the stainless steel or a glass bowl.
Yep.
I just avoid plastic.
You know, you kind of polyethylene getting into your.
Yeah, I just don't know what's going on microscopically, so
Right,
makes
makes sense.
Yeah.
That has a microscope.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so
Nice.
Powerful.
So what I do is I put a little bit of the charcoal in here. It does cloud up, so if you if you were to like pour it in, as Beverly said earlier, you'll get a big cloud of big mess. Charcoal does stain. So, you wanna cover your surface, don't wear.
Paper towel or something, or.
Yes, but in all honesty, when you're using this, a lot of times you don't have time. Somebody got stung, Geneva,
You
I
need
heard.
it ASAP. You need something ASAP.
You need it right away, so you wanna have this on hand. It will stain, but I can say, you can scrub it out. You can scrub it out of most things. A lot of muscle. A lot of muscle. The last time I gave this class, I was testing, because I heard that you can use it as a teeth whitener. So I was really testing to see, I want to know if that's true. And my sink got really, really black.
Oh, no.
Now, I do have that, if anyone wants to test that today, because it actually.
What did it do to your teeth?
Well, yeah, we can talk about that next. Okay, so add your charcoal in there, depending on what the ailment is. Let's say it's a bug bite, then you put a fair amount of the charcoal. I use warm water. Now, Beverly brought out the point, a lot of people do cook it on the stove. So you can get a little saucepan and cook it just a little bit. You're gonna add some water and cook it, like 5 minutes or?
1 minute.
1 minute.
Just bring it to a boil basically and turn it off.
Okay. I use warm water because of the reason I just said. You're often in a pinch. If you have more time, let's say somebody has a stomach ailment, and you're gonna apply this poultice for a stomach ailment. They've got stomach pain, and not sure what's going on. You can apply a poultice to the outside of the stomach. So, you may have time to maybe cook it on the stove. Why am I using warm water though? Well,
Because warm water is pure, no matter, you don't know what's in the water. Because sometimes there's impurities in the water.
well, that actually, although that may be true, I don't worry about that so much because remember the charcoal is really good at getting rid of toxins. I mean, you want to use as clean water as you can, as
Absolutely.
purified water at every time. So what I did was I just added a little bit of water in there. You don't want to add too much because this does get leaky. And to this warm water plus charcoal, I am adding flaxseed. Does anyone use flaxseed maybe in their breakfast or?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
It's in my granola.
Granola, yeah, that's
When
popular.
I have, this once in a while,
Acid reflux.
yes, acid reflux.
Mhm.
That's what I drink.
Okay,
Flaxseed water.
Okay.
I blend them without water and I make like of the powder.
Uh-huh.
And then I put 2 tablespoons of half a glass of water. And I let it stand for a while and then I drink it, and that's what I drink. I never drink, what do you call those, antacids?
Yeah, antacids.
No,
Antacids.
none of those antacids. I
Okay.
take, that's what I take for,
So you have
I
other,
drink.
yeah, you can have this on your breakfast. It provides excellent omega
Yep.
fatty acids, which are good for many things. But you can also have it on hand because you will want it for your charcoal use. You can buy it in a bag. Again, at a health food store. You can buy it in bulk at the Willimantic Co-op. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money on this, you don't have to. Just buy a little bit and keep it in a jar. And so you're going to add it.
I have something to say.
Mhm.
I don't know how many of you remember the lady that came to the church with her husband, and they were talking about
The
health.
pastor, yeah, from Massachusetts.
That she said she put
Beet juice.
she put charcoal and flaxseed. She made like a paste with both, and she was having a kidney problem, infection, something like that. So she put it on her back. But the kidneys are supposed to be.
Yes.
And then she covered it with plastic so she won't stain the sheets and her clothing. And she slept with that. In the morning, she said the smell was so terrible but it took away all those bacteria and everything from her kidneys.
Amen.
So
And she was healed.
Amen.
And that is exactly what we're
With those
talking
two
about.
things with a paste.
Yes, so what she made was a charcoal poultice, and she
Amen.
applied it externally. That's what we're making, and again, I'm just mixing it, warm water, charcoal, and flax, and the flax gels up, kind of like an egg yolk. So it will give it more of a gel consistency if you don't put too much water. The charcoal will start to kind of dry up, so time is of an essence. So you wanna do it, as quickly as you can. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add some of this, the gel mixture that we have, into the gauze. And I'm sorry if you can't see it. You guys feel free if you're more comfortable, kind of getting up and
Looks like dark
and sing.
chocolate.
I wouldn't want to eat that.
No, I'm not asking that I would want.
Can I just add something?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to eat that.
I don't know if everybody was watching her. I don't know if everybody was watching her, but she added the charcoal with the water first and then
Yeah.
added the
Flaxseed.
flaxseed after. I've tried doing the flaxseed first and then trying to add the charcoal afterwards, and it doesn't mix in too well. So this way, actually, it makes it so that it's very less staining.
Okay.
It will, if you just did charcoal water, it
Wow.
will stain your skin.
And the flaxseed.
Okay, so I folded it, and remember this gauze had kind of like another
Wow.
ply to it. That's on the back side, so that I can kind of pick it up.
Not get it over your hands.
Right. Those who can see, there's a stain here, so again, the charcoal does stain. And it will stain your skin, so, temporarily. But for instance, when I did the tooth thing, I didn't realize it's gonna stain my mouth temporarily.
You have black teeth.
And I'm speaking on this in an hour.
Oh, no.
So, there was gray in my gums and such, and I said, boy, this is great. I'm gonna smile with the charcoal. No, but it made my teeth feel really clean.
Oh, that's
And-
cool to
yes,
know.
And I just learned to give myself a little more time to be able to
Mix them up.
scrub it out. So, okay, so what you're doing with this, you are going to then do the same thing that that woman that you mentioned did. You are going to apply this. Is there anyone who has like a bug bite or some kind of something that they want to try the charcoal on? Let me give you a couple instances.
How would you do a scalp? I mean, if you got like I have like 10 years. I go to doctors, forget it.
Yeah.
I got a nail nailed in my head, and I still got the hole there,
Yeah.
and it doesn't heal. So would I have to shave my head and then put that on there?
No, you wouldn't have to shave your head. I mean, there's other things that can stimulate kind of cell growth. I don't know, but charcoal is kind of the thing that people
that
go
work?
to. I cannot say that it will work, but I can't say that it won't, because charcoal has been used for many, many things. Like I said, some of the pictures that I saw were kids in countries that had their necks cut, I mean horribly, and it healed because they were using charcoal poultices. So what you're going to do, I would encourage you to try it. If you're not trying
Would you,
anything
like,
else, I would just
shave
put
that
it,
side?
I would just put it right on. So,
Really?
so what you're gonna do, little tough to put it on yourself, but you get some of this, medical tape. It's
Yeah.
not the most beautiful poultice.
Sounds gonna look funny if I walk around with this big thing on
No,
my...
you would do it at night.
Oh,
Do it
okay.
at night, or do it when you're at home.
Yeah.
You
Wear a
can even
shower cap.
put a hat on it.
Put a
Yeah.
shower cap on.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Cap it on, put the shower cap on.
Okay. All right, so I know that our time is
Okay.
escaping us. So basically what you would do is you have the poultice and you're gonna tape it on and leave it on the area for usually 15 minutes is, for something simple like a bee sting. A bee sting. If it's something a little more severe, leave it on for a little longer. You may see.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you will also want to make a fresh batch. You are not going to keep this. You need to rinse this out and make a fresh batch the next time you're going to apply it. I want to give two quick stories on that, on the poultice. my son, he goes up to Camp Winnipeg every year, the Adventist camp, and I send him with charcoal poultices and charcoal capsules. Somebody asked me on the capsules, so we'll talk about that very quickly. And I've taught him about this, and he said, I got bit by something up there. I thought it was a mosquito bite, and but it wasn't really itchy, and I didn't know if it was a tick because I didn't see anything. And he said, so I went and used the poultice. Now remember, I told you that you need to make it fresh.
Yes.
Well, he's a kid, and
Right.
he's in the middle of a camp. He couldn't make it fresh. So what I did was I put the charcoal in here.
Right.
I put a little bit of the flaxseed. I just kind of put it on there, dried charcoal, some flaxseed, and I said, hey, this may not be the strongest application, but it's better than nothing. And what I wrapped it in here. You wrap it like a square.
Almost like a tea bag.
Yeah, kind of a tea bag would be excellent to use. Yeah. Okay. And I said, buddy, if something happens, if you get bit by a tick or something, then I want you to find some water and just wet it and put that on your arm. Or, well, it ended up being his arm. But I hope you never have to use it. Well, something bit him. And he remembered that, thank God. And it was his arm. He put it on his arm. And he said, it got better, but it was still there. And the end of the week, he was up there for a whole week, and he had a whole supply of these. He came home and he said, Mom, look what happened at camp. And I was like, oh, what is that? I don't know. That's strange. It doesn't look like a tick. It doesn't look like a spider. I don't know. So he went to the doctor, and the doctor said, good thing you had applied charcoal. He did it more than once. It was a centipede.
What?
And I forgot to mention, he was saying my arm was tingling, so I put the charcoal on it. Now he's a kid, and the doctor said, had you waited a whole week without any kind of attention, you could have lost some of the neurological function in your arm, or worse. So he was like, oh, well, I just feel like a little tingle, and now it's fine. That was a year ago, so he's fine there.
Wow.
But he gives me a lot of charcoal experience because he also had an ear. I'm about to give this class somewhere else, and his ear swelled up. I mean, it was huge. And I said, what happened to your ear? And he said, I don't know. And you couldn't even see because it was big.
Wow.
And I'm looking in there, I got a flashlight, and I'm like, what happened? I didn't see any kind of bug bite, anything. And because I couldn't see, well, I said, we're going to the trusty charcoal poultice. Mix it up. I added a drop of lavender essential oil, because I wanted to kind of calm that inflammation. I couldn't see what happened to him. So then I put on the poultice. I actually had a picture, couldn't find it for you, I'm sorry. But it was amazing. After the 15 minutes, you could now see, indeed, it calmed down. You could see he was bit by a spider, and on the inside of his ear. And so I made a fresh batch, applied it again, more, it went down quite a bit more, and he was fine. So the poultice is definitely very useful for many things. I am glad that I got to share that with you because of the time of year.
Yeah, the bugs are bad.
The bugs. Now, you had asked about the capsules. You can buy charcoal in capsules at some CVS, even Walgreens. They have, I don't trust every brand of herbs and supplements. Walmart. They have a brand called Nature's Way, and you can use that. What you would do, it's got charcoal inside. You open, I'll get right to you. You open the capsule, and you would do the same thing. It's a little bit more tedious, because if you buy the charcoal, it comes and it looks like this. Yeah, so you're buying charcoal tablets, and people use this if they have intestinal distress of some sort. You may have diarrhea, and charcoal is very good. I'm sorry?
Will that be good for irritable bowel syndrome?
I have a friend that I gave it to for that, and he said that he had a terrible case since he was a child, and this was the first thing that helped him.
Really?
Yes, so the only word of caution is that charcoal, because of its absorption abilities, you want to be careful if you're taking medication, because it will render your medication less effective.
What if we're healthy and don't take meds?
If you don't take any medication, then this it might be worth trying. So you'll want to talk with your doctor. In my personal experience, this is a great go-to. If you have stomach ailments, and let's say you don't want to take the capsule because maybe your stomach is that sensitive and you don't want this. These are gel caps, so they're vegetarian caps you can get at the Willimantic Food Co-op. I buy these, they're 1 penny each, I believe, and then I buy this bulk charcoal.
How much is it for the big container?
This one was $15. $15.
Yeah, well,
So I make my own capsules from time to time. I saw a few hands, I don't want to ignore them, so okay, Janice or Pat?
Can you use them on any of that on animals?
You can use them on animals. It's excellent for animals, especially, sometimes they have tummy upsets.
Or certain parts of their body will swell up and you have no idea why?
Yes,
Okay.
then that will be good. For swelling, I don't know if I'm going to have time to go over this with you today.
Michelle is enjoying this
Yes,
as much
I
as
have
we
one
are.
thing,
So you just go ahead and take your time. You want to take an extra 15, 20 minutes, you're more than welcome to.
Yes?
Yes,
awesome.
please.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I can keep
All right.
keep
So
going.
let me just get to the questions then, and then we'll go ahead with it. You had a question.
What about for psoriasis or eczema?
Psoriasis and eczema, I've had personal experience with this myself. Usually there are additional causes going on. Sometimes there are, stress certainly plays a role, dietary concerns, all contribute to those conditions. Allergies may be an issue as well. So will charcoal help in those instances? Yes, it will help. It's part of the picture. But there are nutritional therapies and some other things that work really well. And, turmeric is one of them that is very effective in the pain issue. Some people have pain, like arthritic pain associated with psoriasis and eczema. But nutrition, using the food as medicine is really key in those cases as well. Externally, can you use the charcoal on your, I'm trying to think what they call, I don't want to call it wounds, but lesions, yes. Yes, you can. And one of the benefits to that is you want to reduce the amount that those get infected. Some people, it can become very raw, and I've experienced that myself. Yes, and I became very concerned that while it was raw and such that
that's sandpaper.
yeah, and it's very uncomfortable, but you also don't want to create a secondary infection. So applying a charcoal poultice to the outside of the lesions is very useful. And if you are on medication for those conditions, then you don't want to use this at the same time of day as your medication, but you can use it later in the day. Let's say your medication lasts for 6 hours. Then you might want to take your charcoal later in the day. So I take your charcoal. We talked about capsules. Janice, I don't want to ignore you. I saw your hand
Well,
up.
you're pouring water, so I'm hoping maybe you're going where I was thinking, but
Mhm.
how about dehydration of your body if you're taking internal charcoal?
Thank you for mentioning that. Charcoal, if you have certain conditions that, let's say you're constipated or slow moving because of illness or medication or whatever the issue may be, charcoal, because of its binding action, it can seem to slow things down, but it will be moving things. You don't want to use it if you have any kind of like stomach or intestinal blockage, because it's going to make things even slower. In that case, you can use it externally. So again, intestinal, blockage, apply a large poultice. I made a small one for you, but you can make a much larger one using a paper towel or linen, and apply it, to the particular area you're talking about. Even appendix. I mean, many things.
So
Yes.
would you have to increase your water?
You will. Yes. Thank you,
Yeah,
Janice.
you have to increase your water.
You will have to increase your water if you're taking charcoal internally, either by capsule or what I'm going to show you now, the slurry water. You want to be drinking a significant amount more water. So most people think they drink a lot of water if they, just drink a glass, but you want the charcoal to work, right? And you don't want to suffer any kind of so you want to flush it through. You want to help it. So were there any more questions on that?
I have a question.
Yes.
What with the poultice? What do you just water?
With the poultice, we used warm water, or you can warm it over the stove, and you're using flaxseed. Flaxseed. So these are whole flax seeds, and it doesn't matter which color you use. They come in golden, and then you see these brown ones. Either one. Again, if you're doing home remedies on a budget, Ocean State Job Law, you can get Bob's Red Mill. And this is flaxseed meal. So this is ground up, and that works just fine. It's a binder. You use this in your remedies, in your muffins or in your recipes if you don't want to use eggs. It binds things together, kind of like egg yolk. So that's what you're doing with it in the poultice. It's using it to make it a gel instead of a runny liquid, right?
Could you do the same thing with chia seed?
Chia seed, I've tried. Chia seed has that same kind of gel effect. So if that's what you have on hand, then probably that will work. Flaxseed is kind of the go-to. It's what people use, but again, we're talking missionary medicine here. We're using the simple things that God has created, and we're asking Him to bless us and bring healing and yes.
Where's flaxseed come from?
Flax. Flax is a plant. Now you find it growing in various places, but they used to make
Is it in
linen.
America? Is it in America or is it somewhere in?
Yes, here. Yep,
Okay.
here. You can actually even go to the Nathan Hale homestead, and they give in Coventry, and they give walks,
Really?
and they talk about how they the family grew flax and they made linen out of it, and you can see it. It's very cool.
Really?
Very cool.
Made linen out of it?
Yeah, well, you get the flax seeds out of it, and yeah, you make your fibers, and they made did their weaving from it and such. Yes.
Eastern Europe too.
Okay.
That's intense.
Okay, so what we're making now is called a slurry water. I'm using water, filtered water. This I'm going to drink. So you want
Purified water.
good water. Yeah, you want some good water if it's available to you. Okay, and you're going to use slurry water in cases of if you want to drink your charcoal. I've used this for my children when they've had an illness that doesn't seem to move. I've used let's say my go-to herbs that I do if my children first come down with something. I have a few herbs that work really well initially, but if those are not quite working and a stomach kind of bug or upset stomach is the complaint, then you can use charcoal. So what you're going to do is take your water, add a little bit of charcoal powder to it.
About a teaspoon?
As much as you need.
Yeah.
If you have diarrhea, you want it to stop, and that will stop it. But
Well-
you might have to keep taking more. You might need to actually put 2 or 3 spoonfuls in there. If you've got something really bad, you want it to stop, and that will stop it.
Here's the thing with charcoal.
Can it bind you up too?
If you're not drinking enough water, it will slow things down. But you don't have the same issue that you do with like having lots of fiber, like too much fiber if somebody is chronically constipated. It's not going to do that, but it's really it can slow things down. But those are few and far between people. We're talking people who have, you know, really serious slowing and blockage of the intestinal tract. Why is this not, did I put too much? This is a small cup here. Okay, so, let's see. If you put too much charcoal, it's gonna come back out. So an example, my daughter, one time I remember, you know, she was complaining about her stomach. Thank God they don't get sick very often, but she was saying her stomach was really hurting, she didn't know what it was, and she didn't look too good, so I said, here, have some charcoal. So I had her drink it. This should not be black.
It's really
yeah.
black.
Okay, so I did it quickly, and I had her drink this, and it was probably a little too much, and it was very effective because she drank the charcoal down. I didn't give her the full cup. I mean, we're talking kids, you know, get down what you can. It doesn't taste like anything, so it just you're just gonna have black all over your face. So anyone want to try?
Looks like dark grape juice.
I'm gonna try it in here. So she drank it. I told her just drink it, and she's like, "Oh, it's black."
Yes.
This is more. Oh, it's black. I don't want to drink it, and just drink it. Okay, so she drank it, and I'll tell you, her stomach ache was gone in no time because I put a little too much charcoal in it, and it came right out. Right, whatever was bothering her, it came right back, right at me.
Nice.
So, was I upset? No, because she was no longer, oh, my stomach hurts, you know. It worked, and it worked right away. So after that, you know, we hydrated her, we gave her some water, we gave her some rest, and before long, she, you know, we gave her some fruit, you know, apples and such, and she was great.
Awesome.
So that answers the question, can you add too much? Yes and no. The body handles it by pushing it out, one way or the other. So.
It's like the tea, that's almost like the tea, smooth move.
Yes, smooth move. Yes, I'm familiar with that. Okay, so last chance here for slurry water. So what you generally want to do is add your charcoal, and you let it kind of settle to the bottom. So you're drinking the water that's at the top, and we may not have enough time to wait for it to do that, but drinking slurry water is, I put it in the fancy cup so it can feel a little more like drink to your health, right? So I can see it from up here. It is starting to kind of settle down. We probably won't have time to wait for that today, but you can use that in cases of, you know, low energy, malaise, if there's something going around, you know, at the office or so, and you want to kind of prevent.
Does that help pneumonia?
Can it help pneumonia? Well, charcoal can be beneficial if you're dealing with viruses and, you know, bacteria.
We had the pneumonia both at the same time.
Wow. Okay, so for pneumonia, there's some other things that are really beneficial. I mean, vitamin C, 3 times a day.
Vitamin C.
Astragalus is really useful with pneumonia, you know, doing those things. But can you take charcoal? Yeah, just don't take it with your other supplements. You're going to take it, and you're not going to take it, if you can avoid taking it right with your food. You want to take it apart from your food.
What do you think, what's your take on antibiotics?
Antibiotics is a topic that we could certainly talk about at another time or afterwards, just because it's a complex question. So what I do think is that God has given us many remedies, many, and sometimes they are conventional and sometimes they are natural. But we want to prayerfully ask, Lord, what do you want? What does this body need? That's right. What does this body need?
Our bodies are done.
Work with your body, not against your body.
That's right. And so what we want to do is first go to the natural elements. So that brings me to this this one quote. I don't know how many people here are familiar with the author Ellen White, but she was a wonderful author in the 1800s that wrote many books, and even at that time, she wrote about her concern about pharmaceutical, what we now know as pharmaceutical drugs. And this one quote, she had said that she was really concerned because she could see that the drugs of the time were essentially toxic. And she said, "The Lord has given some simple herbs of the field that at times are beneficial. And if every family were educated how to use these herbs in cases of sickness, much suffering might be prevented, and no doctor need be called. These old-fashioned simple herbs used intelligently would have recovered many sick who have died under drug medication. One of the most beneficial remedies is pulverized charcoal, placed in a bag and used in fermentations. This is a most successful remedy." Fermentations are, using heat and, yes.
Is it good for pain like osteoarthritis?
Thank you for asking that. That is what we're going to go to next. I would love for you to report, Pat, and let me know if, I'd love for you to try this and let me know, because I have been reading that it really is. I have a friend also who suffers from lupus, and he says, the pain is just unbearable, and I said, I want you to try this. So we're going to do a charcoal cold pack really quickly for pain, for... Okay. For that, for the purpose of pain. Yes.
Just going back to the water real quick.
Yes.
We don't want to drink the water with the charcoal all mixed in it?
Okay, I do. But typically, you want to wait for the charcoal. You would have more water in this. I'm sorry that I'm kind of Russian, and I'm sorry I'm not being as precise. You want to use a bigger jar or have less charcoal in it. And it's best to let it settle down so it's not kind of a little gritty or so. Can you drink this? Yes. But in the case of my daughter, I had her drink this, and it came right out. That's not a bad thing, though, in the case of if you're thinking about health. In her case, you wanted to get out whatever was ailing her, and it did do that. So to answer your question, can you drink this? Yes, you can. But there are some special properties about the slurry water. It is starting to separate if you were up close. It's almost like the clear water up top, and then there'll be the gritty stuff at the bottom. You drink that, and it does give, it gives some energy. It helps to detox the system. Somebody mentioned about detoxifying the blood. Absolutely. Is this something you want to drink long term? Some people do use it for health. Tom Merrill, I wish he was in here, because I remember many years ago, he was not in good health many years ago, and he started drinking the slurry water sometime after his meal, and he noticed some great benefit. It's also good for gas and bloating, intestinal issues, bad breath. Charcoal, it can deodorize the body in that way, so odors and such. Okay.
Cool.
Oh, I forgot to mention, there are not very many remedies or medicines or effective remedies, I'll say that, for ear infections. You asked about antibiotics. That's usually what doctors say. Here, take the antibiotic. And then if it's drug resistant, then you gotta take something else. And then you've got like a skin allergy or something, when all it was an ear infection, right? First go-to for an ear infection, charcoal poultice.
Cool.
Charcoal poultice, so, put it on. And if you're feeling it really in here, then you want to put it down here. I probably got black.
Her ear always hurts all the time. She gets bad ear infections.
Okay, so you're gonna take some of this home, and next time you're gonna help her with a poultice for her ear infection. And I'd like to know how that works. I don't wish you an ear infection. What did you do?
She gets them all the time.
Amen.
She gets them all the
Okay.
time.
Question, how long do
Yes.
you keep the poultice on for the ear infection?
For the
Overnight?
for the ear infection, remember I said that because of its property, it starts to become less effective after a while. But if you're talking about a serious, this is really inflamed, this
Or
is
painful.
yes, then then what I would do, this is how I do it. I make one, I put it on for a good 15 minutes, take it off, and then I make another one to put it on for the night perhaps. And you're going to use, medical tape that's not gonna, especially if you're doing it on a kid, you don't wanna, right, you don't like it when they rip it off. Yeah, so you put
I'm
something.
taking duct tape.
Yeah, and you can even, take like a t-shirt or something. Okay, so you're gonna see what happens when you add the, okay, good. Usually it will cloud up into a big thing. Okay, so you're gonna add a little bit of charcoal. And for this, I'm adding, again, warm water for instances of pain. I have asked a few friends if they would test this for me because I wanted to know. I know somebody who I know somebody who has Parkinson's and gets pain, probably arthritis as well. So I've asked her, and also my friend with lupus, because I have read that this is useful. Now, is this going to, cure somebody's arthritis? Well, you have to look at the whole total picture, and I would say no. This is something that's going to help.
The pain.
Yeah, help you cope, right? Jesus said, I came that you would have life and have it more abundantly.
And give you rest.
That's right, give you rest. And okay. So what I'm adding now, this is psyllium husk. I have it in my own jar. I buy it at the Willimantic Food Co-op. So again, you can buy as much or as little as you want. If you only want to try it out, just buy a little. You can buy it, like, I think I spent, I bought a little more than this because I made some cold packs, which I'm doing now, and I think it was like $5. Probably a little more than I wanted to buy, so if you only want to buy a little bit, then just buy $1 worth and try some of these things out. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit of.
What days are you working over at the Co-op?
I don't work over there. I just shop there.
Go to the day you're there.
Psyllium husk on the board. Okay. Beverly's going to write it on the board for the folks that are taking notes. Look what's happening here. It's really gone from a powder. It's really rather almost tar-like. So I'm going to add a little bit more water. The psyllium is a binding agent, so people who are having trouble with bowel movements use psyllium, like Metamucil and stuff, to kind of move things along. It's got great fiber in it, but we're putting it in with the charcoal to give it the even more of a gel effect than the flaxseed. Again, you don't want to spend a lot of money, so I'm not going to use my whole bag of omega-3s, seeded gold that I can put on my granola in the morning. If I'm covering a large area for pain. Okay, yeah. So it's kind of like almost like Play-Doh.
Play-Doh, yeah. Look at that.
And
play with it. There you go. You know what?
They go outside and what?
Yeah, there you go.
So what I have here, I just covered the table, and you're going to take your charcoal and psyllium mixture, and a little bit of, you can use plastic, or if you're in the outdoors, use a leaf. Get a large leaf. You don't have to have plastic or any of these things. Use simple elements. Okay, and I'm just using the plastic.
That was good keeping my bug out bag.
Yeah, make a bag.
I keep my bug out bag at the house.
Uh-huh.
That's just a good idea, put plastic in my bug out bag. In my backpack, I call my backpack a bug out bag.
Well, if I come back, I mean, my passion really is natural remedies and, you know, helping people come up with a home medicine, you know, chest, things that are useful to you, don't cost a lot, but really give you a lot of bang for your buck. So I'm using this to just kind of roll it out, but if this is all you got, then use this to roll it out. So, preferably you're doing this not when you have the pain, you're doing this
Prior to.
ahead of time. I'm gonna remove this. Or somebody else is doing it for you. Right, you got that? Yeah.
I'm listening.
Okay. Chuck, you got that?
Can't help the wife.
He's
That's
still
what
on
husbands
the
are
tape
for.
idea.
Help the wife.
200 mile an hour.
Okay. So I rolled it out just a little bit. And this one is, okay.
What kind of paper is that you use?
This paper was not a good idea, for the record.
Wax
Yeah,
paper.
yeah, this one has wax, it's not the one that I just used, so.
You should use wax
I'm
on
looking-
both sides.
Yeah, okay. Don't use paper. Use the leaf or the wax paper, right? So you will end up with
Oh, look at
something a little bit better than this. And you want to use, you know, unfold your gauze or napkin, and you're gonna apply it to the person's knee or shoulder. Again, you can make a much larger, your back, yes, tape it on, with the medical tape that doesn't give them a wax job. Take it off, okay?
We know the medical tape.
Yeah, we have that stuff at home too.
Okay, so
Duct tape.
you've got it there, it's kind of like, you know, silly putty consistency almost, and you're gonna put it on their knee. So this is a warm one. If warm is really good to them, then the, you know, for the pain, then you can use the warm. These are ones that I put in the freezer. So you can make them and you can freeze them. It's just the charcoal and the psyllium.
So
You
what
can
do you
freeze
do? You
them.
have to thaw them out?
You would have to, let's say someone is, you know, having an episode of pain. You know that you're gonna need some today or tomorrow. You're gonna move them to the refrigerator, and that way they'll be cool and it'll feel good. These I just took out of the fridge before, or the freezer before, but you're gonna have, it'll be more moldable.
Pliable.
It feels good, it's cold, yes.
Can I try the warm one on my shoulder?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you use it with the plastic over it like that?
No, the plastic was really just to help,
Keep it so it never can mess.
yes, you can put the plastic on the outside. That's the other thing. If you want a deeper action from your poultices, you can cover them with plastic. So what I'm gonna do is put it on Pat's shoulder and put the plastic on the outside of it, okay? So I thank you guys for your interest and your participation. There's many more things that we could talk about, but somebody mentioned the psoriasis lesions. I've not tried that, but the butter would probably be a good form. So I'm just adding a very little bit. Whoa. Did you get that, Leo?
A little bit.
I'm gonna have a big mess here, Janice.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just mixing the coconut oil with too much charcoal. And you're going to, again, this is only where you don't mind if it stains. In some cases, you don't mind, right?
Yeah, we're not,
You know,
we're gonna get the pain done.
yeah, look at how smooth and creamy that is. So you're gonna put that on for healing. What was that?
Looks like frosting.
It does look like frosting, and you get the benefits.
Dark chocolate.
You get the moisturizing benefits of the coconut oil. Also, the coconut also has some mild, antibacterial properties, and so you get some of the benefits to that, and you also have the benefit of the charcoal. I do have this listed that you can use the butter also for pain. So, it's rather messy, so I try other ways first, but hey, if you want, if you're hurting, or maybe even a cut, if you have a cut, something that you might put
It stops the
Neosporin.
wound.
Yes.
So if you're on the bush,
Instead
it'd
of
be
the
perfect.
Instead of the coconut butter, can you use coconut oil, the liquid?
This is the coconut oil, so you have a liquid form, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cook with.
Okay, yeah, you can use this to cook with. Is your liquid more of a refined form?
It's in a bottle, you just pour it.
You can use like olive oil.
It's like olive oil.
Yes, like olive oil. You can actually use a little bit of olive oil, but you're getting if it's a liquid, then you're getting a different consistency. So it's, if you're putting it on ulcers or something, or some kind of, it's gonna drip. So I gave you, a number of forms that you can use this with. I hope that you guys are much neater and careful than I am in my kitchen. But Janice said, come as you are, and this is how I do it. And I thank you guys for,
Nice tattoo.
yeah.
Now, Tina, you said at the beginning though, you'd come back if there was an interest. I'd just like to see, is there an interest in this
Yeah,
class?
definitely.
Opportunity to come
Definitely.
back and perhaps
Come
do
with
a
business cards.
part two, we'll get there also. Okay, so welcome you back.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you guys very much.